Hello, welcome to the Counselors Complex podcast. I'm Jessica Latin, for those who don't know me. I'll wait a few minutes and let some people hop on. Hello, husband. Please like and share. I'm about to share as well on my end. Hello, I see some people popping on. Please like and share. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Alex and Bella. Bella just came and almost was on the podcast like a minute ago. Hello, everybody. Have some more people joining in. I'll wait a few minutes and let some more people come on. Please like and share. And feel free to comment throughout the show about anything pertaining to mental health, ask questions. Hello. Thank y'all for joining. And please like and share. Hi. Welcome, welcome to those who are popping on. Please like and share. If you're not from the Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana area, comment where you're listening from, where you're joining us from. That would be nice to know. Welcome. Please like and share. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, let some people get on, and we'll go ahead and start. Thank you to those who have liked and shared. Please share in all of your groups and different things like that. Hello. Thank you for joining. I'm going to give it one more minute till 8:05. Hello. Thanks for the love. Please like and share. So it's 8:05. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Counselors Complex. For those of you who don't know, this podcast originally started, I guess, about 2 years ago. And I took a little break just because, COVID life. But I wanted to get it back started again because I'm just really passionate about talking about mental health. And this podcast is really dedicated to just enlightening and educating and empowering those who listen to this podcast and empowering them in their own mental wellness journey. I'm going to put my information up here just in case anybody would like to contact me about counseling services or about anything that you may hear on the show today. That's my information that's scrolling at the bottom. And even if I can't necessarily counsel you, because I know I have a lot of friends and family that may tune into my things as well, I can definitely refer you to some great resources in the area or wherever you may be tuning in from. Okay. Thank you. For those who are tuning in, please like and share, and feel free to comment as we talk about mental health. So, today's episode is going to be about taking a leap. It's going to be about basically how to go ahead and um, just take a chance on things that maybe you have had worries about or been apprehensive about doing. I'm just going to talk to you guys about how to take that leap into a new level in life. But before we get into that, I'm going to talk about something that was in the news pertaining to mental health. And you guys may have heard about it or you may have seen it already on Good Morning America. But it talks about a football player, a college football player actually retired from football. And I've never heard about that. I mean, I've never heard of that unless it were for maybe like a serious physical injury. But this player actually retired due to emotional mental health reasons. And so I thought that was a good way to kind of start off the show. So I'm just going to read this little snippet from this article from Good Morning America. So the title reads, OSU's Harry Miller shares emotional message about mental health. So after 3 seasons with Ohio State, Harry Miller announced he would be medically retiring from football, revealing mental health struggles that pushed him to the brink of suicide. Miller joins today to talk about his decision to step away from the game he loves and delivers a powerful message to those who are struggling. And this is what he said, and it was very powerful. If you get a chance to go back and watch him on the Today Show, I highly suggest that you do it because it's pretty emotional. So get your tissue ready. But he really touched my heart when he talked about this. And he said this, and I quote, "Hope is just pretending to believe in something until one day you don't have to pretend anymore. I would just ask you, pretend for a little bit, and then one day you won't have to pretend anymore and you'll be happy." This was pertaining to what would he say to someone out there who's struggling with depression or having thoughts of ending their life. And so he said, just pretend for a little while until you don't one day you won't have to pretend anymore. And I just thought that was so profound because often we are just kind of pretending or putting on a face that we're happy and we're really not. And you've seen a lot of stories lately. This is the latest one, but with the passing of former Miss USA Chesley Chris, and a few other people recently that have committed suicide. Like, it really brings to the forefront that there are a lot of people out there that are pretending to be okay and they're really not, and they are giving up on life. They don't see that there's any light at the end of the tunnel. So you guys feel free to comment, like, share, of course, but I'm really interested to know, what are your guys' thoughts? I really appreciated this. Like, I hate that he's going through this, but I feel like this is really big for a college football player to come out to the public and say, hey, I'm struggling with being in the spotlight and being in the limelight, because we all look at athletes as being so strong. Like, you are the strongest of the strong, and they have a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure put on them, especially if they plan on going into the league. And so, like, what are your guys' thoughts about him coming out and saying this? This is especially big for a man, like he's he's a college student, but he's a man, and typically men don't come out and say that they're hurting, and that they're going through some mental health issues. So, if you guys have any comments about that, I would be really intrigued to engage in some conversation about that. Because like I said, like men just don't really talk about their mental health because typically society tells them that if you show any sign of weakness, yeah, no matter what it is, like that's a negative. And I mean, if you, like I said, you'll have to get your tissue ready if you watch his segment on Good Morning America because he was crying. It was very emotional. And typically you don't see men, um, exhibiting uh exhibiting their emotions in that way. Um Somebody made a comment and it's hard for me to see on here. Then maybe I need to. Okay, there it is. Spirituality is a powerful way to manage mental struggles. That is my go-to. Yes, yes. So I was just talking to somebody about that today about how um regardless of whether you go to church every Sunday or not, like having some sort of sense of spirituality, having a higher source that you look to, whether that be God, whether that be, the universe, whatever you believe in personally, and that is definitely going to give you a sense of grounding and it's going to give you something to look forward to. It will give you peace of mind. It may have some scripture or affirmations or things that you can take with you and apply to your life, and that definitely helps you with managing your mental health. And even with the topic that we're going to talk about in a few minutes, with taking a leap and deciding what you want to do next in your life, like a lot of times people resort to their faith and their spirituality to help kind of guide them in that decision making process. So yes, Yolanda, that's really good that spirituality helps. But even like if you look at like men in the church, oftentimes they may struggle with expressing their emotions because again, men are supposed to be stronger. And then if you're really spiritual or involved in the church, then maybe looked down upon as, you're not praying hard enough, or um, you're not doing something pleasing in the eyes of God or whoever. And that's why you're going through that. And that's not necessarily true. So thank you for that. So yeah, so I just thought that that was a pretty interesting piece about this football player. For those who are just tuning in, I was just talking a little bit about Harry Miller. He played for Ohio State and he recently just announced that he was retiring from football, and he's only a junior in college, just a junior. And it wasn't because of physical health issues or injuries, it was for his mental well being. He also talked about, just kind of struggling with that balance of having to play at a game where thousands of people are watching you, and then the next day you have to go take a test. Like that can be quite overwhelming to have to be able to balance all of that. So I was not a college athlete, but I had friends that were athletes, and I know that has to be a lot of pressure on somebody. But I think it's really big that he just made the best decision for himself, and I know that there was not an easy decision to make. But he had to do what was best for him. Like a lot of times we worry about, well, what will the fans think? Or what will my coach think? Or what will my family think? Or But we have to do what's best for ourselves. And fortunately, he's such an intelligent guy, and you can definitely tell in his interview how intelligent he is. He has so many other great things going for him, and I know that he's going to do great no matter what he does, even if he does not do football. He's super smart. I think he's like an engineering major, chemical engineering major. So he's going to do great things. And especially with him coming out and talking about his mental health, I'm sure that's going to open up so many other doors for him that he doesn't even realize. But he was just doing it for himself. So kudos to him for taking that leap and, making a decision that ultimately probably saved his life. Um, so yeah. So we're going to get into the topic of the day. So when I chose this topic, I was thinking, like, okay, what can I talk about? But I always try to talk about things that are relevant to myself as well. Like I try to be transparent and talk about things that either I've experienced or, just something that is relatable. So recently I decided to quit my full time position working for the state and to branch out and do my private practice, JL counseling full time. And so, with that, came a lot of doubt and fear and just all kinds of things, right? So, um, I just wanted to get on here and kind of talk to you guys and see what are some of your thoughts about um just about taking a leap and making changes that may be bigger than just, your average little small change, So like this is a big deal. Like this is changing the course of my family and my career and everything. So it was not an easy decision to make, and of course there's always going to be what ifs in the back of our mind, right? Um but ultimately we have to make the best decision for ourselves, and sometimes we have to take a risk and we just have to leap. So I wanted to kind of break down the word leap and kind of give you guys some tools for how to make changes in your lives, no matter how big or small that change may be, so that you can take the leap into the next level of greatness in your life, no matter how scary it might seem. Um, okay, so the first part of it, and hold on, I have my little notes here. Um, so the L stands for let go of your fears. Okay, so um you have to let go of all of your fears, all of your inhibitions, all of your worries. There's always going to be doubt there, yes. But sometimes there's not like a physical obstacle that's holding us back. Sometimes there's not another person that's holding us back. Sometimes it's literally just us. Like I know that personally in a lot of things in my life, anything that's kind of gotten in the way, it's usually been me, myself, because I am kind of like a naturally like a natural worrier. And so I'm always like going over things over and over in my head like a million times. Um and yes, Yolanda, many do deal with major changes, especially when you're like there may be good and negative things about whatever you decide to do. So sometimes you're just like, well, am I sure that I want to take this risk? So with myself in deciding whether or not to even start my practice to begin with. I started my practice back in 2019. That was a big deal even then. Like that was another huge step. And many people don't know that I actually like got all the business like paperwork and all of that stuff finalized probably a year before I actually started my practice part-time, and it was because of fear. I was unsure about being out there on my own, like, and having to do all of that on my own and rely on myself. And so that was, and trusting myself, trusting that I know that I can do this, and I know that it's going to work out. And so, fast forward 3 years later, because February was the anniversary of my practice, I decided, hey, I'm gonna take that leap and go into private practice full time and just rely on myself and build up my caseload and make it what I want to be, and serve the people that I want to serve, and do all the things that I'm really passionate about. Whereas, when you're working at somebody else's agency or somebody else's job, even in your circumstance, when you work for somebody else, you're carrying out their dreams and their goals, and you're focused on their passions, and it's very hard to kind of combine the two. And so eventually you do have to decide, do I want to do my thing, or do I want to support somebody else's vision, or do I want to pursue my own vision? So I had a lot of fear going into this, and anything that I've ever done that I've had a lot of, just apprehension about, like even changing hairstyles. It's like I have to just kind of jump out there and just do it. And usually I do it at random and spur of the moment type deal. Because if I think about it too much, I'm gonna overthink and kind of psych myself out. Um, so you have to let go of those fears. Um, Fear is natural, right? Anxiety is natural. We all have that fight or flight response, as our bodies are made like that to protect ourselves from harm. And sometimes our brain does not know the difference between a real threat and a non threat. So you're going to have to let go of those fears and challenge those irrational thinking patterns, and just kind of let it go, like Frozen, and just get on out there, and do what you need to do, because financial things, that's gonna come, that's gonna work itself out. Scheduling and all those little things that you worry about, it's gonna work out. A lot of times, the thing that's standing between us and doing the thing that we want to do is us, our own fears, our own mind. So the next part of LEAP is the E. And so that stands for educate yourself. So if you're going to take that leap and go out there on your own, or do that thing that you've been thinking about pursuing, you have to educate yourself. And my husband has always said, like, you don't necessarily have to go to like college and become like a doctor or anything, depending on the career, or whatever you're trying to do. But just educate yourself. You're going to have to get some sort of training, some sort of knowledge, in order to be successful in your leap, and being confident in yourself. You have to get the knowledge and the wisdom in order to carry out whatever your goals are. So educate yourself. So before I decided to start a practice, and even over the last 3 years, as I've been doing it part time and still been working at these other places, I've been educating myself, not just on how to run, not just on counseling things, right? Because when you have a business, you can't just focus on what that particular service is, or what your talent is. Like, you have to focus on everything. So I had to focus on the business side of it, because I'm not like I didn't major in business, so I didn't know everything about business. My husband taught me a lot of those things. A lot of business things I've researched myself, and just kind of observed. And I've looked at other agencies and what they do, and said, well, I don't like that, or I do like that. And so I just kind of educated myself and figured out what was the best way for me to accomplish having a practice on my own. And so that helped me to decide, okay, I feel like I'm ready enough, or I have enough knowledge and enough education right now, which I'm always going to be learning. You'll never know enough, right? So you're never going to know everything, but at least you'll know enough so that you have a good footing and you feel comfortable with moving forward. If you still feel like you don't really know what you need to know, especially like the basics or the common things in business or in what your specific niche is, then you need to continue to educate yourself till you get to the point where you feel like, okay, I got this. And you're going to continuously educate yourself. That's why we have continuing education courses. Um, I'm taking one right now. So you got to constantly educate yourself and just continue that as you are leaping to the next level. Um, yes, Yolanda, preparation can take away fear. So if you're prepared, then the fear is less, right? So when we have so just throwing that out there. So if you're at school or if you're at work and you guys do fire drills on a regular basis, you feel prepared. And so you're not as scared when that alarm goes off because you're thinking, it's a drill. I got this. We've practiced this, right? So preparation is definitely something that is so important, and education is a part of that preparation process. You don't want to just throw yourself out there and say, oh yeah, I want to be a CEO. Everybody wants to be a CEO. Everybody wants to be a business owner. And I'm especially at the start of the pandemic with so many people losing their jobs or getting laid off, like a lot of people were considering kind of going into business for themselves. Um, but it's not easy. And it's not, like I think all entrepreneurs can relate when I say we probably think about quitting multiple times, probably a month, or probably in a week. Um, because it can be quite overwhelming at times. Um, so definitely educate yourself. The A stands for apply what you have learned. So, what good is all of that knowledge if you just keep it to yourself, right? So, you have to apply what you've learned to your everyday life so that you can be effective, so that you can branch off and do your own thing and do what you need to do. So apply what you've learned. A lot of times people are just sitting on knowledge, sitting on information, because partially because they're afraid. But you have to apply it and you have to use it. If you don't use what you've learned and if you're not practicing those things, then you're just going to stay stagnant and you're not going to grow. So you have to apply what you have learned, um, so that you can grow and elevate yourself. Okay, and that one's pretty kind of cut and dry. You just have to apply, everything that you know, put it all together, and you'll see what happens. You'll never know how good you are at something until you actually apply it to your life. So all the things that I've learned, I apply it not only to my counseling sessions with my clients, but I also apply it in my everyday life as well. Or at least I try to. I'm definitely not perfect, but I try to apply some of the concepts that I use with my clients, with myself, because that's going to not only help me with be a better counselor, but it's going to help me be a better person overall. And then in turn, that's going to help me just be a better business owner, and just really operate effectively. So, for those who are tuning in, we're talking about taking a leap, going to the next level of life, because sometimes we're afraid to take that leap. So I'm just kind of breaking down some steps to making a change, whether it be what we consider to be a negative or a positive. So that could be leaving an abusive relationship, that could be um, going into business for yourself, that can be deciding to be in a good relationship with somebody that you've known for a long time. It doesn't matter what it is. All of these can be all of this can be applied to whatever, in your particular life, and what you're going through. So whether it's professional, I'm just talking about it from a professional perspective, but whether it's with relationships or whatever, you can apply this to that. Um, so the P, and this is like my favorite quote. This is what I use all the time. So persistence is the key to success. So you're gonna have to persist with whatever change, with whatever you're trying to do. You cannot just do it one time and it doesn't work out and just like, oh well, no, I give up. If we all just kind of gave up the first time something didn't work out, the minute we jumped out there, there are a few little bumps in the road or something like that. That's okay. Don't give up. Just continue to persist. um I always tell people about when I applied for my first job when I was 17. I applied to work at Sonic in Ruston. And I think I went to that man probably once a week for about a month. And I think he just got tired of seeing me. And so he eventually hired me. But I wholeheartedly believe that if I hadn't been as persistent as I was, I wouldn't have gotten that job. And then I wouldn't, essentially, I wouldn't be where I am today, because I think that kind of catapulted a lot of my work ethic and things like that. So persistence is the key to success. So you're going to have to be persistent and not give up when clients are not showing up, or if things aren't working out as planned, or if you're having problems in a relationship here, or this person leaves over here, or this mishap happens right there. Like, just stay focused on your why, and what made you decide to take the leap in the first place, and continue to persist. Because the minute you give up, you're going to feel worse about yourself because you gave up. You gave up too early. There's nothing is perfect. Nothing is ever just kind of handed to us on a platter. I know for myself, everything that I've wanted to do, it's always taken time. And sometimes I've had to take several tries at it. It's like, getting on a bike and you fall down and get back up again, fall down and get back up again. So, you have to be persistent, especially if you really want something. Now, if you don't want it, then fine, but if you really want something, which I really wanted to work for myself, and the reasons behind that were just for full autonomy, being able to do the things that I want to do, serve the people the type of client that I want to serve, the work with the population that I'm really passionate about, as well as my family. Like, I have been working so diligently over the last 3 years, 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. Um, just being persistent, getting in all of that knowledge and education and experience. And I have been building all of that up to being able to spend time with my family on my time, on my watch, when I want to. And so, just kind of look at the bigger picture when you are making your plan to leap and make these changes. So change is very hard, and it's definitely not easy, and you just need to stay the course. Because at the end of the day, it's definitely going to be worth it if you just hold on a little bit longer. So that is my little spill on change and just kind of taking the next step. So, like I said, my story was pertaining to me going into private practice full time, but you can really relay this to anything in your life. Like I said, with whether to decide to stay in a relationship or leave a relationship, sometimes that's really hard. So, you want to really like let go of your fears, all those doubts in your mind about what if I leave this person and I can't find nobody. You're going to find somebody, okay? Stop it. Let go of that fear. Um or what if I leave this job and what if even like if you want to move? Well, what if I can't find a job that I want to? Why would you not find a job that you want to? Like why would you even speak that into existence? So you have to let go of your own fears. A lot of times we're the ones that's standing in the way. Number two, educate yourself. You cannot, move and not realize, what moving entails. You have to definitely, thank you, Yolanda. You have to educate yourself on everything surrounding this change that you're wanting to make. So, what I encourage a lot of my clients to do is to do something called a cost versus benefits analysis. So a lot of times people do pros and cons. So they'll get like a sheet of paper and you'll write pros on one side and cons on the other. Um, I encourage people to look at it from a cost and benefit point of view. What is this decision costing me and what are the benefits of it? And I think even if you look at relationships in that way, you'll realize that a lot of times relationships are costing you more than they're benefiting you. This job is costing you more than it's benefiting you. This friendship is costing you more than it's benefiting you. So that's a part of that education piece, is really kind of evaluating and educating and just kind of determining what works best for you. Apply what you have learned, actually put it to use, put it to work and see what happens. And then persisting um, until you make it, until you get to the finish line, or until you accomplish what it is that you're going to accomplish. So that is how you take a leap. um, if anybody has any comments or any questions, feel free to post them. um, I'm happy to discuss this further with anybody. If you have any suggestions for any future topics as well, please send me a message or comment below. If there's anybody that you would like for me to interview on here, please let me know. I've had a couple of colleagues on in the past talking about various subjects. So definitely comment and let me know, because I want this to be very engaging and interactive. So I'm excited when you guys ask questions, and because I love to educate people, particularly about mental health and mental wellness. So next thing that I want to talk to you guys about. So you guys know about Oprah's favorite things, right? Okay, so if any of you watched Oprah, I know I did when I was growing up. She had her favorite things. I think she still does her favorite things list, but it's in the old magazine. Well, I have Jessica's favorite things. So now it's time for Jessica's favorite things. And so each week I will be talking to you guys about something that I really love or is my favorite thing pertaining to mental wellness. It's usually going to be something that's going to be helpful to you, or maybe if it doesn't resonate with you, it might you might think of somebody who might need this favorite thing. Um, so today, my favorite thing is this book. Um, and I've been reading it since February. Um, of course, time has gotten in the way, so I haven't been able to read it as much as I would like, but I'm going to finish it before the end of the month. But this is the book that I'm currently reading. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And as you can see, I've taken some notes, so it doesn't look as pretty. I've highlighted things in here. Yeah, I've gone like highlighter crazy in here. And it's just really pretty too. I like pretty things. So, so yeah, so Atomic Habits by James Clear. What can I say about this book? It is awesome. Like, I highly recommend this book for anybody that's trying to create new healthy or helpful habits. Um, I've been using it since February because my goal was to exercise more. For those of you who don't know, I do beauty pageants. That's like part of my self-care. That's my hobby that I do outside of therapy. And so I'm preparing for the physical fitness portion of the competition. And I really like, it's very, very hard for me to get motivated to exercise. And so I was like, maybe this book can help me with that. And it has definitely done wonders um for me. And since February, I have exercised 5 days a week, every week. So I'm super proud of myself. And I owe that change, that leap that I took, I owe it all to this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. So I highly recommend that you guys pick this book up. It's not very expensive. I really can't remember how much it costs. It's not on the book. Um, but it doesn't matter how much it costs because it's an investment in yourself. I always tell people, like, we spend money on all kinds of stuff. So if you can spend money on a book that's literally going to change your life, go ahead and spend, that 15 to $20. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So Atomic Habits, he also has um worksheets on his website that go along with the book. And I found that to be so helpful. And I love worksheets, and I use them in my therapy sessions with my clients as well. So it's worked great for me, not only in my personal life, but also with with me, giving me tools to help my clients as well. So one of the things that I really like in this book, that one of the concepts that he talks about, is kind of thinking bigger than just like a little simple goal. So initially my goal was to exercise, um, to prepare for Mrs. Louisiana. But however, when I started to think on the bigger scheme of things, like he was talking about, he talks about, instead of thinking in like a small, uh, in the likes of like a small goal, but think of, who do you want to become? Like, what type of person do you want to be when you're thinking about these habits that you want to change? Who do you want to become? And so I thought about it. I was like, who do I want to become? Because after the pageant, whether I win or whether I lose, what who will I become? Like, what's next? So if I win, then I'll continue to exercise so I can prepare for Mrs. America. But then what happens if I don't win? Then am I gonna stop? And then that's how people get into, then you'll gain their way back, or you won't be as healthy as you were at this point in time. So I said, I want to be a healthy person. I want to be somebody who loves to work out regardless of what's going on, whether there's a competition or not. And so when I thought like that, instead of me focusing on becoming Mrs. Louisiana, I'm focusing on becoming a healthier person that loves to work out regardless of what's going on. And when I changed my mindset that way, I definitely noticed a difference. And now I'm more motivated. It doesn't take that long for me to, Like when I get out of bed, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Like, where's my weights? Like I'm just ready. So I think that that's one of the best concepts in the book, and there's so much more in there too. So I highly recommend you get it. Have your pen and your highlighter ready because you will definitely. There's a lot of gems in this book that you will definitely want to go back and look at. Um, so yeah, so that is my favorite thing for this week. So I hope you guys check it out, and if you guys do buy it or read it, please let me know what you think about it, and maybe we can have a little follow-up discussion about it. I'm currently reading this in my book club with some friends of mine and my sisters-in-law. Shout out to them if they're watching. So this is our book for the book club. But if you guys read it, please let me know and let me know what you guys plan to do. So that leads me to the final segment of the show. If you guys listen to my podcast before, you know that I would have a challenge, okay? The Counselors Complex Challenge, the TCC Challenge. So I'm going to challenge you guys to identify a habit that you want to change. I don't care what it is. Like mine was exercising more frequently. So whatever it is that you would like to do, no matter how big or small, whatever habit you want to change, I encourage you to A, buy the book because I promise you it's life changing. And B, I encourage you to challenge yourself to try to change that habit. And he also talks in the book about not calling something a bad habit or a good habit, just referring it to as helpful or unhelpful. That way there's no like shame or negative connotation to it. So are you doing okay? Yolanda says that the book is $11.98 on Amazon. Thank you, Yolanda. So yeah, so you could get that's lunch at some of these places. But that lunch is gonna be gone once you eat it. This book is going to help you build healthy habits that will last you a lifetime if you follow the plans the plan that he puts in the book. So, yes, get that book. And I'm going to challenge you to read the book and apply what you've learned to leap into the next level and make those changes that might be a little bit scary or a little intimidating. And let me know what you guys think. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like and share, comment. Please follow me on all my social media pages. Let me put that up there. Um, you can contact me at 318-759-7865 to schedule an appointment. I accept Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana and Texas. I accept Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, and I think that's it. And private pay, of course. I have a sliding fee scale for those who may not have insurance, or if I don't take your insurance. I don't ever want mental health. I don't ever want there to be a barrier to anybody receiving mental health support. So yeah, you guys can follow me. Please follow me on Facebook and IG at JL Counseling LLC. I'm always posting things about mental health and just how to make your life better. And thank you guys so much. Tune in next Monday. I will, yes, all the referrals, Yolanda, send me the referrals. You can visit my website, jlcounselingllc.com. People can schedule on my website, and they can see everything that I have to offer, all of that. I have some support groups coming up in April for perinatal mental health. I also have a training for anybody who's interested in learning more about postpartum depression and any of the other perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. Check that out. All of that information is on my website. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I will be and no, you don't need a referral. You don't have to have a referral from a doctor or anything. You can just come on your own. A lot of people find me just on their own. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. Comment below if there's anybody that you would like for me to bring onto the show, or comment, send me a DM if there's any future topics that you would like for me to discuss. Thank you guys so much. Sliding fee scale information is not on the website, but if you send me a message on the website, then I can definitely send you that information. Thank y'all so much. Good night.